My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 17 missed calls from Ashford Enterprises, the same company that fired me 6 hours ago. I silenced it and took another sip of coffee. Let them sweat. The email had hit their inboxes at 9:47 a.m. System alert, deployment license expired. Contact Morrison Systems, LLC to renew. Every executive, every VP, every director who thought today was business as usual just learned their billion-dollar network was frozen solid. I'm Grant Morrison, 52 years old, 25 years building their entire security infrastructure. And as of this morning, I owned every line of code they thought belonged to them. Let me tell you how we got here. 8 hours earlier, I was staring at an email that should have been harmless. Mandatory attendance. Landon's birthday celebration. I read it twice. Mandatory. For a birthday party. I had bigger problems than champagne toasts with the millennial crowd. The final security patch for our global network was sitting on my screen, half finished. This wasn't some routine update. This algorithm was worth close to $1 billion. If I didn't close this vulnerability tonight, the next board meeting would be a disaster. My phone buzzed. Text from Karen. Coming home for dinner? My wife had been in and out of treatment for 3 months. Stage 3. The insurance from this job was the only thing keeping us afloat. Every scan, every round of chemo, every specialist visit, all of it depended on me keeping this position. I typed back quick. Tomorrow night. Promise. Just need to finish this push. Another Slack message popped up. Word is Landon hates anyone who skips his parties. Loyalty test, apparently. I almost laughed. Loyalty test. I'd been loyal to the work for 25 years. I built the 3-layer encryption protocol they still used. Saved them $400 million when the Jakarta servers got hit in 2019. I was the only one in the building who could stop that breach. My code handled 8 billion transactions daily across 43 countries. Every bank transfer, every security clearance, every access point, my work, that had to count for something. I glanced at the time, 9:40. The party would go until midnight. I had 3 hours of code left, maybe 4. I made the call. Finish the work. Skip the party. Simple decision, except it wasn't simple at all. At 9:15 the next morning, I walked into an ambush. The executive boardroom was colder than usual. Glass walls, skyline view, and Landon Ashford standing in the center like he owned the world. Behind him sat his old man Philip, my former partner, the guy I'd helped save from bankruptcy in 2010 when his acquisition strategy nearly tanked us. We built this company together 20 years ago, started in a basement office in Newark, 2 guys with a business plan and enough nerve to bet everything on it. Now he sat there, arms folded, face like stone. No warmth, no acknowledgement, just cold silence. Grant, Landon said, dragging out my name like it tasted bad. Thanks for coming on short notice. I didn't sit, just stood there waiting for him to get to the point. He straightened his tie. Navy suit probably cost more than my mortgage payment. As of this morning, your employment is terminated. Effective immediately. For half a second, the words didn't make sense. Terminated. My brain scrambled for reasons. Budget cuts, restructuring, something logical. But he kept talking. You demonstrated a lack of commitment. Missing last night's event. Not a good look for someone in your position. We need team players. People who fit our culture. Culture. I'd carried this company on my back for a quarter century. Built the algorithm that kept their entire global network from collapsing. And now I was getting erased by someone whose biggest accomplishment was throwing his own birthday party. I kept my mouth shut. One word, one outburst, and I'd lose whatever leverage I might still have. So I just nodded once, even though the floor felt unsteady under me. Karen's treatment. The bills, the mortgage. Without this job, without the insurance, everything collapsed. Landon must have seen something flicker in my face because his smirk deepened. He leaned forward, hands flat on the polished table. Don't ever think experience beats family, Morrison. It doesn't. That line burned itself into my memory. This wasn't about merit. It was about bloodlines. And I didn't share his. I gathered my things without a word. Philip still hadn't said anything. 20 years of partnership. I'd saved his career more times than I could count. And he just sat there, letting his nephew destroy me. I walked out thinking one thing. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, Landon. And you don't even know it yet. The envelope was waiting on my desk. Company logo embossed. My name in bold. Next to it, my monitor displayed one sentence in black text. Your access has been revoked. 25 years. Erased with a single line. Around me, the office hummed with forced normalcy. Keyboards clicked. Phones rang, but every pair of eyes avoided mine. People who used to ask my advice on million-dollar projects suddenly found the floor tiles fascinating. I slid the envelope open. Termination agreement. 2 pages, no thank you. No acknowledgement of the billion-dollar architecture I designed. Just legal jargon and a final instruction. Return your badge by end of day. I wanted to march back into that boardroom and tell them exactly what I thought. But outbursts don't win wars. Silence does. I packed slowly. Each item I put in the box felt like a countdown. My colleagues whispered when they thought I couldn't hear. What happened? He didn't go to the party. Laughter somewhere behind me. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. 5 words. Leave the building. Cafe on 5th, and then a name that stopped my breath. Walter Drummond. Walt, former CFO. The man who knew where everybody was buried in this company. A year ago, he'd vanished after a quiet retirement. No farewell speech. No LinkedIn updates. Just gone. I didn't hesitate. Badge in hand, box under my arm, I walked out without looking back. The cafe was nearly empty when I arrived. Walt sat in the corner booth, silver hair catching the morning light. He looked older than I remembered, but his eyes were sharp as ever. "Grant," he said, nodding to the seat across from him. "Sit." I lowered myself into the chair. Walt Drummond, the man who'd orchestrated billion-dollar deals without breaking a sweat. The same guy who'd mentored me when I was still green. And now here he was, staring at me like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. "You're wondering why I called," he said. Voice even, deliberate. I nodded. He leaned in. "Before I walked out of that building a year ago, I set something in motion. For you." My breath caught. "For me?" Walt smiled faintly. "When you started building that algorithm, I knew its value. And I knew the people in charge wouldn't protect you if politics got ugly. So I built a safety net." I stared at him. "A trust," he continued, "holds an LLC Morrison Systems. 6 months ago, you signed papers. Remember? Buried in that compliance stack I gave you." I searched my memory. Then it hit me. That night, Walt insisted I review legal documents. I thought it was routine IP protection. I'd been exhausted, working late, and I'd signed everything he put in front of me. "How does it work?" I asked. Walt pulled out the trust document. Thick, official. Delaware law. IP carve-out clause triggered on wrongful termination. Every patent, every licensing key automatically transfers to Morrison Systems LLC. We filed it 6 months ago, buried in Section 12. 4 of your employment amendment. He tapped the page. Philip signed it without reading past page 2. "Standard exec mistake." I let that sink in. "You're saying if you left voluntarily, nothing changes," Walt said. "But if you were removed without cause, the LLC assumes full ownership of your work." He paused. Landon just triggered it. The room tilted. "Everything?" Walt reached into his coat, pulled out a small silver USB drive and slid it across the table. "Your system, your patents, your licensing keys. All of it belongs to you now." From this moment on, they just shot themselves in the foot. I closed my fingers around the drive. Its weight felt real, solid. Walt leaned back. "Landon thought he humiliated you. Truth is, he just activated the trap we've been building for half a year. For the first time since this nightmare began, something inside me flickered back to life. Not rage, hope. Real hope. What's next?" I asked. Walt's smile was cold. "Professional. You transfer everything. Lock them out, then we watch them panic." From the corner booth, I logged into a secure terminal and completed the transfer. 1 digital signature, 2-factor authentication, and 25 years of my life slid from their servers into Morrison Systems LLC. The algorithm wasn't theirs anymore. It was mine. My phone buzzed with notifications. Emails, Slack messages, fragments of disbelief traveling at light speed through the company. "Did you hear they fired Morrison? He practically built the entire system." What were they thinking? I scrolled past the noise. My badge might be dead. My desk abandoned. But I'd never been more present. Another ping, social media post. Landon's face filled the screen, crystal glass in hand, laughing with 2 executives like they'd just conquered Rome. Caption read, "Leadership is knowing who truly matters. Ashford family first." I stared at his words. Leadership. Landon couldn't lead a line at a coffee shop. He didn't even realize the empire he was gloating over had just slipped through his fingers. Then it happened. A soft chime from my laptop. License notification alert. Subject line, system alert. Deployment license expired. Please contact Morrison Systems LLC to renew. The email wasn't just in my inbox. It was in every executive's, every VP's, every director's inbox. Everyone who believed today was business as usual had just learned their flagship system was frozen in place. No updates, no patches, no expansion. Not until they came knocking on my door. I closed the laptop and took a last sip of coffee. On the surface, calm. Inside, ready. How long until they figure it out? I asked Walt. He checked his watch. Already have. Philip's calling an emergency board meeting right now. While I sat in a quiet cafe, chaos erupted 13 floors above me. The boardroom that once radiated power was now a pressure cooker. Philip's voice thundered against glass walls. Landon stood rigid beside him, yesterday's bravado curdling into panic. Sweat beaded at his hairline. The IT chief stammered through a slideshow filled with red error screens. All global deployment functions are locked. Every node requires a renewal key from Morrison Systems, LLC. His eyes flicked toward Landon and dropped just as quickly. Landon slammed a fist on the table. He can't do this. He signed a standard work-for-hire agreement. The general counsel adjusted her glasses. Her tone was ice. Actually, he didn't. Morrison negotiated an IP carve-out clause tied to performance benchmarks, and he met all of them. Without his signature, you have no enforceable claim. Philip's face went white, then red. We paid his salary. We funded the infrastructure. That system belongs to us. Not according to the contracts, the lawyer replied, and the patent filing is already approved under the LLC. Legally, they own everything. Silence settled thick. Then Philip roared, "Get Walt Dramaine on the phone. He'll know how to unwind this." A junior aide scrambled to dial. Speaker mode crackled to life. One ring, then a voice, smooth and measured. "Walter Dramaine speaking." "Walt, thank God," Philip barked. "We've got a situation with Morrison. We need you." Walt cut him off. "A situation you created." Landon's head snapped up. "Walt, listen, here's my advice," Walt said. His tone could freeze steel. "Wish your legal team luck. You'll need it." A beat of silence. Then the click of a call ended. Philip stared at the dead speaker, mouth working soundlessly. The man he'd trusted had just aligned with the enemy. By mid-afternoon, they thought they'd found a lifeline. Emergency legal team crowded the boardroom. Stacks of paper, open laptops. Landon sat at the head, tie loosened, sleeves rolled up like a man on the brink. "We have a path," the general counsel announced. "If Morrison hasn't filed a patent, we can submit an emergency application. Given the system's commercial value, we could argue prior ownership through investment and resources. Risky, but it might work." Landon's grin split wide. Finally, someone earning their paycheck. Do it. File it now. Phones buzzed. Keyboards clattered. For a moment, the air tasted like victory. Downtown, I sipped coffee as my phone vibrated. Push notification slid across the screen. USPTO filing confirmation. Patent number 1,190,847 approved. Registered under Morrison Systems, LLC. Approved 2 weeks ago. Long before Landon even planned his party. Walt and I had built this net tight. They weren't chasing a loophole. They were sprinting toward a brick wall. Seconds later, another alert. Emergency filing rejected. Existing registration on record. I opened a secure chat with Walt. They tried to file. I snapped a photo of the confirmation screen. Already done. Walt's reply came fast. Beautiful, let them twist. Time for phase 2. The email came through as I stepped out of the cab. Subject line, strategic opportunity. I opened it while the city roared around me. Horns and footsteps blending into background noise. Titan Security Group wanted a meeting. Their tone was polite but urgent. They'd reviewed the public filings for Morrison Systems, LLC, and were prepared to discuss a licensing deal. Mid-9 figures. Hundreds of millions for what the Ashford family thought they owned. I didn't hesitate. 10 minutes later, I confirmed time and location. The Grand Meridian Hotel. Same 5-star palace where Landon threw his victory party 7 days ago. The irony wasn't lost on me. Inside, the lobby gleamed. Marble floors echoed under my footsteps. Financial journalists lingered near the entrance, sniffing around rumors of unrest at Ashford Enterprises. I walked with purpose. They didn't know my name yet. They would. Titan's CEO greeted me in a private suite overlooking the skyline. Raymond Porter. Same generation as me, maybe 54. Self-made guy who'd built his company from the ground up. No trust fund, no family connections. Just work. Mr. Morrison, he said, extending a hand. We've been watching your work for years. What happened this week? Their loss, our gain. I shook his hand. Firm grip, eye contact. I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm here to talk about numbers. He smiled, respected that. Negotiations began. Calm, measured. Everything in writing. Lawyers scribbled notes. Analysts crunched figures. Raymond's CTO pulled up my specs on a large monitor. Your SJ512 variant is elegant, he said, reviewing the encryption protocols. Military grade, but scalable. We've been trying to replicate this for years. I nodded. It took me 15 years to perfect. Raymond leaned back in his chair. We're prepared to offer $320 million for global licensing rights. Non-exclusive, you retain ownership. We expand into Europe, Asia Pacific, and South America using your infrastructure. I kept my expression neutral. $320 million. Life-changing money. But I wasn't in a rush. We'll review, I said. But understand, I'm not desperate. The longer this takes, the more leverage I have. Raymond's eyes gleamed with something close to respect. Fair enough, we'll give you 48 hours. While they prepared revised terms, I drafted an email on my phone. To Philip's address, subject license renewal offer. Body, you have 48 hours to negotiate renewal terms. After that, the value of your company begins to evaporate. Choose wisely, I hit send. No threats, no drama. Just a deadline and a truth they couldn't outrun. Across the suite, Raymond slid another document toward me. Initial terms, take a look. If you're interested, we can fast-track this. I scanned the pages. Professional, clean. Everything above board. This was how business should work. Merit, value, mutual benefit, not bloodlines and birthday parties. I'll have my attorney review it, I said, standing. You'll hear from me tomorrow. Raymond stood as well, extended his hand again. Looking forward to it, Grant. When I left the suite, reporters had multiplied near the elevators. Cameras clicking. Someone whispered, "That's Morrison, the guy from Ashford." I didn't stop to answer questions. Just walked straight through to the street. Outside, the evening air bit cold. But inside, I felt steady, controlled. They thought they'd humiliated me. Instead, they handed me the weapon. Before the negotiations went further, I needed to make one call. Karen answered on the second ring. "It's done," I said. $940 million. Titan's buying the license. Silence. Then her voice, steady despite everything. "We're okay, we're more than okay. Treatment's covered. Bills paid, house secured. Everything." I heard her exhale. 3 months of chemo, radiation, insurance nightmares. All of it gone. "I'm proud of you," she said quietly. I closed my eyes. "I'll be home tonight." "I know you will." That call mattered more than any boardroom victory. More than any headline. Karen had stood by me through every late night, every career gamble, every moment of doubt. She deserved this security. 2 days later, they came crawling back. They walked in like men still pretending to own the room. Philip's stride was stiff, jaw locked tight. Beside him, Landon looked pale. The tan couldn't hide it. Arrogance reduced to something fragile. They spotted me at the center of the conference table. Calm, composed. A glass of water untouched at my side. Walt sat to my left, legs crossed, radiating quiet authority. He didn't rise to greet them. Neither did I. "Grant," Philip said finally. Voice tight, "We need to talk." I tilted my head slightly. "About what?" Landon leaned forward, forcing something like a smile. "Look, we can fix this. We're prepared to—" Walt cut in. "Sit down." It wasn't a suggestion. They obeyed. That in itself felt like victory. Walt reached into his briefcase, withdrew a thick document, and dropped it on the table. The sound cracked through the room like a gunshot. Philip flinched. Landon's eyes darted to the bold header. "Irrevocable trust agreement." Walt spoke slowly. Each word measured. 6 months ago, this trust was executed under Delaware law. It holds one asset, Morrison Systems LLC, and that LLC now owns every patent, every line of code you thought belonged to Ashford Enterprises. Philip's face drained of color. "That's impossible." "It's binding," Walt said. His tone could cut glass. "You signed the original carve-out clauses yourself, Philip. I advised you to protect Morrison. Instead, you let nepotism make your decisions." His gaze slid to Landon. For the first time, the kid who'd smirked at me across a boardroom looked small. Very small. "This," Walt continued, tapping the agreement with one finger, "is the price of arrogance. I warned you both. You chose family over competence. Now your empire bleeds from that choice." Landon opened his mouth. No sound came. Philip slumped back in his chair, eyes glassy. The math was hitting him. $940 million gone. Their entire security infrastructure, worthless without my signature. I leaned forward, folding my hands on the table. My voice was quiet. "Steady. You didn't just fire me, gentlemen. You freed me." Landon stared at the floor. Philip looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 seconds. "What do you want?" Philip asked finally. His voice cracked. "Name your price. Consult for us. We'll pay whatever—" "No," I said. The word hung in the air. "You'd let the whole company burn?" Landon said, finding his voice. "Desperate now. All those people. All those jobs." I met his eyes. "I built it. I can watch it fall." Silence. Then I stood. Walt stood with me. "You have my email," I said. "If you want to negotiate licensing terms, contact Morrison Systems. Standard rates apply. Non-exclusive. Market value." I walked toward the door. Walt followed. Behind us, Philip's voice, barely a whisper. "Grant, please." I paused, didn't turn around. "You taught me loyalty meant nothing, Philip." I learned the lesson. Then I walked out. For the first time in 25 years, I didn't look back. The press conference was scheduled for Friday morning, 1 week after they fired me. I arrived early. The Grand Meridian's conference hall was already packed. Journalists, analysts, investors, all craning for a glimpse of the story everyone had been talking about. Financial reporters lined the walls, cameras on tripods, microphones clustered at the podium like a garden of black flowers. This wasn't just tech news anymore. This was Wall Street news. This was about power shifting hands. At the center of the stage sat a long table draped in navy silk. 2 chairs, 1 plaque in crisp black letters. Chief Innovation Officer, Grant Morrison, Morrison Systems LLC. I paused at the door, letting those words settle. Then I walked forward, every step measured. Cameras swung toward me, firing in rapid bursts. A week ago, I was a ghost slipping out of my office with a cardboard box. Today, I was the headline. Raymond Porter sat already seated, reviewing notes. He looked up as I approached, nodded once. Professional, respectful. This was how partnerships should work. I sat, smoothed my jacket, lifted my eyes to the cameras. Raymond leaned toward the microphone. "Good morning, thank you all for coming. Today, Titan Security Group is proud to announce a historic licensing agreement with Morrison Systems LLC. He paused, let the moment breathe. Final valuation, $940 million. The room erupted, cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. Raymond raised a hand. The agreement grants Titan non-exclusive global licensing rights to Morrison's proprietary encryption and security architecture. This system currently handles over 8 billion transactions daily across 43 countries. It represents the most advanced commercial security protocol in existence. He turned to me. Mr. Morrison will retain full ownership and patent rights. This partnership allows Titan to expand operations into Europe, Asia Pacific, and South America, while Morrison Systems maintains autonomy and continues independent development. More flashes, more questions. A reporter near the front raised her hand. "Mr. Morrison, you built this system while employed at Ashford Enterprises. How is it legally yours?" I leaned toward the microphone, kept my voice even. "I negotiated IP protection clauses in my employment contract 6 months before termination. Those clauses were reviewed and signed by Ashford's executive team. When I was terminated without cause, ownership automatically transferred to Morrison Systems under Delaware trust law. Everything was legal. Everything was documented." Another reporter. Ashford Enterprises released a statement saying they're exploring legal options. "Your response?" "They're welcome to explore," I said. "The patents are filed. The contracts are binding. They can spend money on lawyers if they want. The outcome won't change. How does it feel to hold this much leverage over your former employer?" I paused, thought about Landon's smirk. Philip's silence. 25 years reduced to a 2-page termination letter. "It feels appropriate," I said. The room went quiet for a beat. Then more questions, more flashes. Behind me, on the conference room's display screens, news alerts started rolling. Financial networks picking up the story in real time. One headline caught my eye, made me almost smile. "The heir who sank a fortune, Ashford VP's birthday party costs company $940 million. The photo showed Landon leaving the Ashford building. Jaw tight, suit wrinkled, eyes down, the weight of failure written across his face. 28 years old, and he'd just become a case study in what not to do. Raymond fielded more questions about Titan's expansion plans. I answered technical questions about the system's capabilities. Professional, direct, no grandstanding. After 30 minutes, Raymond closed the session. "Thank you all. Full documentation will be available through our press office by end of day." As the crowd dispersed, reporters tried to corner me near the exit. I kept walking. Polite nods, no extended interviews. The story was told. The numbers spoke for themselves. Outside in the lobby, Walt was waiting, leaning against a marble column, hands in his coat pockets. He'd watched the whole thing from the back of the room. We didn't say anything at first, just walked toward the exit together. Finally, near the revolving doors, he stopped, extended his hand. I shook it, firm grip. 25 years of mentorship compressed into that handshake. "Good work, Morrison," he said. "You too, sir." He nodded once, then walked away. 2 old warriors. Job done, no need for speeches. I stood there for a moment watching the city move around me. Taxis honking, people rushing. The world kept turning. My phone buzzed. Text from Karen. "Saw the news. Coming home?" I typed back, "On my way." That night I sat in my home office. Quiet, no champagne, no celebration. Just me and a cup of coffee, reviewing blueprints for the next project. The system I'd built for Ashford was good, solid, but I could make it better. Faster encryption, tighter protocols, less vulnerability to brute force attacks. Morrison Systems wasn't going to be a one-hit company. This was just the foundation. Karen appeared in the doorway. She looked tired but stronger than she had in months. The insurance situation had been suffocating her. Now she could breathe. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded. "Better than okay." She walked over, put a hand on my shoulder. "I'm proud of you, not because of the money, because you didn't let them break you." I covered her hand with mine. 28 years of marriage. She'd seen me through everything. Failed startups, risky career moves, late nights when I wasn't sure if the gambles would pay off. "We're good now," I said. "Everything's covered. You can focus on getting better." She squeezed my shoulder. "What's next for you?" I looked at the blueprints on my screen. "Build something better, something they can't take away." She smiled. "That's what I thought you'd say." A week later, Ashford Enterprises made a quiet announcement. Philip Ashford was stepping down as CEO, early retirement. Landon Ashford was no longer with the company. No press conference, no interviews, just a brief statement buried on page 12 of the business section. I read it over breakfast. Felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anger, just acknowledgement. They'd made their choice. Now they lived with it. My phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Then I saw the area code. Newark, Morrison, I said. "Mr. Morrison, this is Patricia Holbrook, General Counsel at Ashford Enterprises. Do you have a moment?" I leaned back in my chair. "I'm listening. We'd like to discuss licensing terms. For internal use only. Non-competing. We understand your position, and we're prepared to negotiate in good faith. What happened to exploring legal options?" A pause. We explored them. Our attorneys advised against pursuing litigation. Smart attorneys. "Mr. Morrison, we're not asking for charity. We're asking for a business arrangement. Fair market rates. Everything documented. We need that system to function." I thought about it. Thought about the people still working there. Engineers, analysts, good people who had nothing to do with Landon's birthday party or Philip's bad decisions. "Send me a proposal," I said. "Morrison Systems rates. Non-exclusive, annual renewal. If I don't like the terms, we don't have a deal." "Understood. Thank you for considering it." I hung up. Karen walked in. "Who is that? Ashford's lawyers. Asking to negotiate." She raised an eyebrow. "You going to help them?" "Maybe, at market rates. It's just business now." She nodded. "Understood." This was never about destroying them. It was about not being destroyed. I walked into that boardroom a week ago thinking I'd lost everything. But sometimes losing what you thought defined you is the only way to discover what you're truly capable of. They underestimated me because I stayed quiet, because I didn't play their games. What they didn't know is that silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this, it's simple. Your worth isn't determined by the people who fail to see it. You're not obsolete. You're not replaceable. And when the world tries to write you out of the story, that's your cue to pick up the pen and write the next chapter yourself. If you've ever been counted out because of your age, remember this. Experience isn't a liability. It's a weapon, and the longer you've been in the game, the sharper that weapon gets. They thought 52 was too old to matter. Turned out it was the perfect age to win. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. Real situations, real strategy, no noise, just results. Because trust me, we're just getting started.